Open up your eyes, keep your brain intact. You can't make no mistakes, no fiction for fact. You gotta have two sides to a one-sided plan. You gotta earn what you want and know where you stand. Cause time's getting worse in the city and the streets. As the wrong gets stronger and the right get weak. Brother against brother, child against child. The whole world's crazy, it's everything's wild. Dust being sold, people getting bold. The wise dying young and the dumb dying old. Taxes sky high, you just can't pay for all the freedom that they give or the freedom that they say. Cause that's a way of life, that's a way of life.
Oh, well, I ran into this guy, thought I used to know. He lived down in the far south side ghetto. Well, he said he's coolin', just a chillin' harder, that he had the bank and didn't need the job. So I asked him for his address to where he lived. He was down in the ghetto where he always did. But now he's selling drugs to kids that are young, and some think it's cool, but I think it's dumb. So I walked away and with no regard, and then he yelled at me, you know things are hard, I can't find a job and got to make ends meet. I got a wife, 9 months and almost nothing to eat. So I stopped right there, he rang a bell in my mind, cause I knew he was talking about the old hard times. Cause that's the way of life, that's the way of life.
That live with all this hurt and with the pain that they feel, ain't no hells on earth. There's crying and dying, a pot that melts its sorrow inside that the rich never felt. Now you meet a female that's down by law, and she just moved into the house next door. She was sleeping in the morning and working in the night, and she was down with the crew, but things weren't right. She had 8 different brothers every other week, and the rumors that you heard said she was a freak. But you refused to listen cause you was weak. Now the block is saying that you're a freak. Cause that's the way of life, that's the way of life.
Poverty at its highest peak. People living in the streets and don't even eat. Some be working for minimum wage with no benefits, and now they're working like slaves. Or while the rich getting richer off of poor people's money, then they swear like hell their life is fun. They continental cuisine, the champagne, the limousine, fancy clothes and the critical gold. Is the water to the one who goes and buys his gun and says I'm gonna live this life bold, y'all. Cause that's the way of life, that's the way of life.
You see the dope fiends, gamblers, coke fiends and scamblers, the petty prostitution and the nickel bag handlers, the pain and the suffering that stays in time. You're lost in the source and the chains in your mind. You gotta pay the rent, but you haven't got a cent. Cause taxes hurt your pocket with the government. Times are changing fast, you can't be last in the world of today. You gotta bust your ass. That's the way of life, that's the way of life.
I say life is funny, life is short, filled with hard times, good times and sweet thoughts. I count my blessings every day in my life, because others struggle, fail and die. But I'm gonna make it, you wait and see, because life is only what you want it to be. Cause that's the way of life, that's the way of life.
Cause that's the way of life, that's the way of life. Cause that's the way of life, that's the way of life. Cause that's the way of life, that's the way of life. Cause that's the way of life, that's the way of life. Cause that's the way of life, that's the way of life. That's the way of life, that's the way of life. That's the way of life, that's the way of life. That's the way of life.